Okay, welcome back, Cougars. All right, so what we have here is we're going to kind of go over a timeline of what happens during World War One, so you can kind of see what happens from start to finish. So to start off, what we have here is in 1908, what happened was Austria-Hungary wanted to annex Bosnia-Herzegovina. So we kind of saw this on the map before, and what happened is this really upset their southern neighbor Serbia. Serbia, much smaller than Austria-Hungary. But they wanted this part of the world for themselves. They wanted to bring this region under the Serbian government. But Serbia is much smaller. They can't really go up against Austria-Hungary all by themselves. So they have their ally, Russia, right? And we remember when we're talking about alliances that Russia is in that alliance with Great Britain and France. So keep that in mind as we go through here. So this alone wouldn't lead to tensions, but you also have to factor in those four main causes, right? The militarization, alliances are a big deal here, and nationalism. So as we go through, you'll see how this escalates pretty quickly, something we talked about with militarism. So as we're moving on in this story, what happens next is the Archduke Franz Ferdinand gets assassinated when he's down in Sarajevo, which is in that region, Bosnia-Herzegovina. Well, he's assassinated by a group of Serbians known as the Black Hand. So we have this group of Serbians that just killed the next in line to be the ruler or the leader of Austria-Hungary. So if you're Austria-Hungary, you basically just kind of lost your next in command, your next leader who's going to take the throne. So what they do is they have these threats. They have this list of ultimatums. And an ultimatum is kind of like if someone hurts your feelings or takes something from you, right? You might say, you need to do this or else. Well, in this case, that or else is going to war. And so what Austria-Hungary did is they made this list of ultimatums that Serbia could never fulfill. They would never be able to. In terms of money that they demanded and territory they demanded, Serbia was never going to be able to do this. And Austria-Hungary knew this. So these threats escalate. So remember how we talked about very little things can escalate quickly when we have that militarism in mind, right? We have large standing armies ready to jump at a moment's notice. Well, that's where we are in 1914, is Austria-Hungary is ready to go into war. So it does. So on July 28th, Austria-Hungary declares war on Serbia. One, because they couldn't fulfill all these ultimatums that Austria-Hungary knew they would never be able to do. So after war has been declared, what's next? Germany and Russia join. Why did they join? Because of that system of alliances we have, right? So Serbia and Russia are aligned. Serbia is attacked, so Russia joins. And then Germany is allied with Austria-Hungary, so Germany joins. So this is how big the war has gotten. We're into July, and we now have four people or four countries in World War I active. Well, so one guess, who's next? If we have Germany already in, Austria-Hungary, Russia, what other country, if Germany starts going to attack, who's next to Germany that's going to join the fight? France. So we have France setting up some troops along the border with Germany. So what does Germany do? Germany mobilizes its own forces, puts them along the border. So now on the German border, on their west, they have France, they have to fight, and on their east, they have Russia. So they have two-sided war that they have to fight along. Well, so as we keep going, who else is left out of the mix? Italy. So if you remember, Italy is supposed to be on the side of Germany and Austria-Hungary. They had signed on to the Triple Alliance. However, when war actually comes, Italy does not join the fight. They stay neutral. And so does a country called Belgium, which is kind of in between Germany and France. Now, it had already said it was going to be neutral anyway. If war broke out, it said it was not going to join a fight. And so everyone had said, okay, you don't have to pick a side. One, it's a small country. It's not very threatening, right? No one's worried that Belgium's about to take over Europe. Belgium doesn't have that large standing army. They only have a few colonies, mainly the Congo in Africa. So they're not seen as a threat to a lot of other European countries, which is why they're able to get away with being a little bit more neutral. So as we go into this, keep that in mind, that neutrality, because Italy's going to change. Italy's going to take a side here. But we're just halfway through the first year of the war, 1914. So our next thing, there's only one country we have left out of the war. So who's about to join the fight? We got Great Britain. Okay, so Germany announces they're attacking France. We knew this. They've already put their troops on the border, so is France. But instead of going head to head with those French troops, why not go around? Well, this is what Germany thought. So we have Belgium, which was neutral, but we're going to march our forces through because it's going to let us surprise the French. So Great Britain said, don't do this. Germany didn't listen. And that's what pulls the trigger on Great Britain entering. Great Britain was looking to enter the war anyway, right? They're allied with France. They want to help their French allies. They're allied with Russia. They want to help their Russian allies. And they don't want to see Germany get too powerful in Europe. So Germany ignores Great Britain. They know that Great Britain is going to join. They know that this is inevitable, but they think that the catching the French off guard by going through Belgium is well worth it to get if the British get involved, that's fine. They think that the gains they're going to make from catching the French off guard are going to outweigh those significantly. And so for a time, they push the French back. The French weren't really looking at that. They didn't think that the Germans would be so bold as to go through Belgium. So they retreat. Well, they retreat until about a month later, in 1914, German forces have moved. They're closing in on Paris, and French forces saw the opportunity to strike back. And so this was known as the Battle of the Marne. And one of the significant points of the Battle of the Marne is this is kind of where the war on the Western Front between Germany and then France and Great Britain on the other side comes to a standstill. German forces aren't moving forward. French forces aren't really pushing them back. It's a standstill. Both forces kind of get entrenched where they are, and they're not able, no one's winning any significant battles. No one's losing any at this point, but there's a large cost of life. So a lot of soldiers are dying, but no one's really making any ground. So the Battle of the Marne is kind of known as when German forces stopped advancing on French territory. Okay, so we'll go ahead and pause here, and we will pick up in the next video with trench warfare. So be ready to see what that all entails.